This is Guardian Radio 96.9 FM. Fresh news, smart talk, all day.
The aftermath of every social revolution brings about change. Cultural norms and landmarks shift as our minds and hearts expand beyond the familiar. To everything, there is a season and a time to every purpose in the land of the living. This is our time to renew, revive, and restore the hope lost to the busyness of life. This is our time to dig again and rebuild from the storms of our past on a solid footing that holds. Welcome to The Foundation.
The Foundation.
The Foundation is brought to you by Alive, Bonneville Bones, Burger King, Commonwealth Bank, ESC Distributors Limited, Grand Bahama News, Halsbury Chambers, Printmasters, Ron's Electric Motors, and Wendy's.
The Foundation.
Everything is bigger and better at Burger King Nassau.
Excuse me for the interruption. Boy, come and the quick reminder to say this coming Friday, and please come over the lawn. You went to the man number one sound round town. And this a Friday evening. Bim! The people them tired of working. Lord, them hear the disco playing. Bim! It make them feel like dancing. Ain't no summer say. Brita will be greater with the disco operator. 5 double 18 and a 6 tweeter. This is DJ Talk sweeter. See on him just up with the echo chamber.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. 96.9 FM radio. Howard Grant and your company, The Foundation, on this beautiful Friday, September 20th. Guys, we got 10 more days before we get out of here. I got to tell you all this dream, man. Before we do that, we got to be able to talk to you about what's happening out here. Got to make sure you pick up the Guardian newspaper. Check that out. Shout out to all my good, decent people over at AFS Insurance Agents and Brokers. Guys, check them out. They are my guys. Make them your guys also. Man, they're good, decent people, man. All my vehicles are definitely insured with them, even if you want something residential, whether you want something local and personal, whether you want something commercial, they can be able to assist you with that. You got to check them out if you're looking in the market for insurance. You know that we're in the thick of hurricane season and all these things, so you won't be able to check the things out. And make sure you get that taken care of. So check them out, 341-1AFS, 341-1AFS. They can take very good care of you. Number 407 Blue Hill Road South, right there east of the Golden Gate Shopping Plaza. They can take very, very good care of you. Actually, my good friend Ethric Bow or Mr. Richardson down there, they'll be more than happy to accommodate you. And they're also always in the market looking for new talent. So if you're one of those persons that's looking for a job, that's looking for something to do, that you are, teachable, trainable, coachable. We talked about these three things, the teachable, trainable, coachable concepts, and you're open enough to be able to wash away those things that you thought you knew and opening yourself to being able to apply yourself to what you got to do. My God, there's an opportunity available for you. So give them a call, 341-1AFS, 341-1AFS. Make sure you pick up the Guardian newspaper. All the information's in there. Guardian News. Here we go. Prime Minister Pike deal should be done by next week. The Davis says that the BPL agreement allows government to avoid tax hike. Prime Minister assures BPL workers that their jobs are safe. ERCA reasserts authority as Grand Bahama Power Company regulator. And Davis expects to close Grand Ucayan deal in 2 weeks or so. Well, at least the language changed. I would say that because every time we heard him talk about Grand Bahama, more specifically about the Grand Ucayan Hotel, everything was hopeful. Well, we hope. But today he says he expects. I think he eradicated the hope. He expects. That means that they did some stuff. He expects to close the Grand Ucayan deal in the next 2 weeks. All the information's in there. Make sure you pick up the Guardian newspaper and check that out, guys. Dive deeper into the conversations, dive deeper into the topics of what we're talking about, and find out exactly what's what. Prime Minister says the campaign finance laws not off the table this term. Prime Minister Philip Brave Davis, I love you. I just want to say this to you publicly. I love you, right? But I want to say to you publicly also, you got to stop this. You got to stop this people-pleasing thing. Can I say this to you? With the greatest degree of respect, you got to stop this genuflecting and bowing to ensure that you can always keep the masses under your fold and always on your side supporting you. You got to be able to assert yourself in the position of a leader. You've already acquired and attained the position. Now, the authority associated with it and that posture. You ain't got to be dismissive and like a totalitarian, but you have to know to take on a very strong position. You have to. I got to say this to you, man. I like you. I love you. Right? And not in the agape love that God has given all of us. Amen? I love you, and I want you to be able to do the best that you possibly can and realize the opportunities. I think that you've done a great deal in terms of identifying young persons and giving them opportunities. I got a shout out to Minister Jomo Campbell. I just stopped down there on Gibbs Corner to be able to see his community center as he's actually putting together. Shout out to Mr. Miller in his particular capacity. And as the general contractor to being able to put everything together with Island Gems. These are local persons right out of the Centerville being able to do those things. They got to shout them out. So the Prime Minister has given young persons an opportunity to be able to flourish, to shine. And so we've seen Jomo Campbell take on this position for the development and understanding that we need to be able to take something else and move it forward. Something that you haven't seen over 50 years. Can I say that? Well, 45 years. In Centerville, you haven't seen this. The representation that sat in that particular position for a very long time came forward and said, well, I didn't even know that the people didn't have running water in those areas. So I got to shout out to Jomo Campbell. I got to shout out to Jamal Strawn for being able to identify and develop a concept to preserve, identify, and mold the next generation with these particular community centers. This is important that we have these kind of a conversation. So go back to the Prime Minister. I got to commend the Prime Minister for taking on this position. But Prime Minister, you can't be wishy-washy. You can't be flip-floppy. You only got 2 years. That means you get less than 700 days to be able to get to this. Talk to me. You got less than 700 days to get to this. You don't have the time no more to be a people pleaser. You don't have the time no more to ensure that you can always be the presume person that could come in as a knight in shining armor to rectify this particular issue. We've already seen this. We've seen this play already, and you got to stop this because this is the one-trick pony concept. This kind of an idea where let's see if they forget the thing that you do. No, you can't do this no more. You can't do this no more. I don't know how far we got to take it back, but we could take it back. Let's take it to Clint Watson. Clint Watson came out and said that the Prime Minister has to be able to, before he transitioned to the position of being the general manager over at ZNS, Clint Watson sat in the position as press secretary for the government of the Bahamas. And as he spoke, I sure he didn't mean no ill will by it. He just was trying to be able to be transparent. And I think sometimes we don't necessarily click off the switch or click on the switch of professionalism. There's still this sort of a cordial understanding. Though you're elevated, there's a cordial understanding among colleagues. So I think that this kind of a conversation that Clint was having, I'm not an apologist for Clint. I just want to say, I don't believe that. I think it was a slip up. I think it was a slip up. I don't think he meant to say it, but he did say it. And he started to say, well, the Prime Minister, he knows the audiences that he's in. He knows the position that he's in, so forth and so on. The Prime Minister swooped in, made corrections. Okay? We've seen this time and time again, that after the authority from within the confines of the Cabinet of the Bahamas has come out and say this is the position that we've taken, and you get significant pushback from society and the electorate, then the Prime Minister comes in and say, okay, we can make modifications to it. Don't worry about that. As though he wasn't a part of the decision-making at the forefront. In the back of the People book, in the back of your New Day book right now, my God, let's just be decent. In the back of your New Day book right now that exists there, that you've crafted and set out for all persons to be able to understand and see going forward, on page 50. Let's do that. I am on page 50 of the new, A New Day, a Blueprint for Change New Day agenda. This is the thing, right? It says the PLP will improve the national development plan initiated by the last PLP administration that improves a coordinated approach for the inclusive national development to create a more resilient and vibrant Bahamaland. Then we go on to the next page. It starts to talk about the NDP pillars. The NDP pillars, National Development Plan pillars, good governance. Then it goes on to say, now we in this particular instance is the PLP. This is number 10. This is number 10. It says, we commit to good governance with integrity and accountability. That has not happened. I didn't say that you lack integrity. You didn't commit to the integrity that you indicated that you would. The integrity of transparency, the integrity of honesty, the integrity of accountability. You didn't commit to that. We can't say that it's too late. I can't say that it's too late. Legislation could be able to change the entire thing, and then we can see your administration take a particular course. We can't say it's too late, but I want to read this piece for you right here. This is the second bullet point that I want to be able to read for you. It says, we commit to fully implementing the Freedom of Information Act, an Integrity Commission Act, the Ombudsman Bill, New Public Disclosure Act, Anti-Corruption Act, Campaign Finance Reform, Code of Conduct, Whistleblowers Act, Electoral Reform Act, and Procurement Act. And then you come on out and say that it wasn't necessarily a part of the agenda. That's what you said. You said, well, we're not necessarily taking it off the table. But I cannot say to you that it is high on the agenda at this particular time. Right? This is what you said. And now we're reading here in the paper, Prime Minister says that campaign finance law is not off the table this term. This is bananas to me. Prime Minister, we can't please people no more. We can't be a people pleaser. We have to put ourselves in the position where we're taking care of what we have to take care of. We have to put ourselves in the position where we're taking care of what we have to take care of. Okay? I just sent my producer something. Let me see if I can be able to play a little piece of this for you guys to be able to hear. This is exactly the Prime Minister's position on campaign finance reform. Let me see if I can be able to play a little piece of that right now. You got it? Well, guys, this is a little clip. Hopefully we can be able to get it queued up for you. This is a little clip that the Prime Minister was talking last night. We just captured this information. And I just want you to hear directly from the Prime Minister his position, what he said, and being able to do those things. When the producer gets it, I'm sure that he'll tell me so I can let you guys hear it exactly what's what. But this is his position as it relates to campaign finance reform. We can't be wishy-washy on the position. Your chairman has indicated, after your book has indicated to the entire mass of the country, and we've been able to keep those things, then your chairman came back and said that there's a philosophical difference that exists in these particular spaces, and the same difference that we, the collective, has also applied to campaign finance reform. Now you're coming back and say, well, listen, the thing ain't really off the table yet. You got to make up your mind. It on the table or off the table? My God, we can't be hanging and cliffhanging on the side here. We got to move forward. Let me see if I can play a little taste of this.
The essential question speaks to why certain issues relating to campaign financing, Freedom of Information Act, have not been either carried out or followed up with us. First of all, let me just say that those matters are of concern to us. It's just not a priority in the context of where we are. When I walk and talk to Bahamian people, meet their families, they don't speak about the Freedom of Information Act. They don't speak about campaign financing laws. What they speak to me about is relief from cost of living, action on crime, access to health care, wanting opportunities. Campaign financing, that in itself is fraught with its own difficulties. You'll find the alternative to campaign financing and regulating it is the requirement that perhaps the public purse should fund election campaigns. Should I put that on the Bahamian people at this time? I don't know.
Oh, Lord. Prime Minister, let's just do it. Let's just take the Band-Aid off. Let's not have this kind of a conversation. Let's just allow your legacy to be able to be etched here. I often have a conversation about how you're running a parallel campaign. Let yoke be on my face and focus your commitment relentlessly on a campaign of transformation in the country. You got 2 years to do it. You got less than 700 days. You got 700 or some days. Yeah, let's do it. Let me have yoke on my face. Let me be the one that sounds like a fool for being able to say these things. Let's just do it. There's no need to to teeter between two decisions. Make a decision. Do it or don't do it. You're scared that you can try and expose these persons who've been able to fund your organization for a long time. You're scared that the affiliation with these particular things will cause people to look at your organization funny. What is the fair? What is the fair of being able to say these things? There needs to be transparency on these issues and accountability. There needs to be integrity that you've committed to in your blueprint for change. Let's just do it. Let's just do it. And good, bad, or ugly, let the Bahamian people decide. You have to have the confidence to know that you could be a transformative leader. That what you've done so far has led a great deal of people who were skeptics about your position into a position that says now even the biggest F&M skeptics quietly would say to me, boy, look here, the PLP may win this again. You have to make a decision and pull yourself out of that 38% margin point. Pull yourself out of that margin point. Pull your socks up out of that position. You got to make a strong decision. You can't teeter on the issue, and you can't flip-flop like Bush would say to Kerry. You can't be a flip-flop on the issue. Either you can deal with it or you ain't gonna deal with it. And you can't tell us nothing about this term because you don't know what tomorrow holds. And we ain't even talking about 2026. We're talking about actually tomorrow. You don't know what tomorrow holds. So let's get strong about these things, guys. The line's going to be wide open. I want you to join me in conversation today. 323-6232, 325-4316, 325-4259. Anywhere for the family of islands, 242-300-5720. Or hit me up 422-4796. That's the text line. Let's talk about these things, man. We can't live between two decisions anymore. You got to embrace one and reject the other. Which one are you going to be beholding to today? Let's take a quick commercial break and be right back after this.
Foundation. The foundation.
Everything is bigger and better at Burger King Nassau. When you have a big appetite, BK has a royal deal for you. Get a flame grilled double Big King Jr. or an original chicken sandwich plus 4 chicken nuggets, small fries, a drink, and a fresh baked cookie for only $9.95, including that. The royal deal was built for a big appetite, and at $9.95, including that, it's a steal of a deal. Go big and enjoy the BK flavors you love with the $9.95 royal deal at Burger King Nassau.
When you jump in your Japanese import and you turn the radio on, all you hear is... For the month of September, the Hitspot will install a band extender in your Japanese import for the discounted rate of only $79.99, VAT included. Get your band expander installed today at the Hitspot and listen to
Star 106.5.
Plus, get fresh news and smart talk on
Guardian Radio 96.9 FM, Nassau, Bahamas.
Bahamas, are you ready? Keep the vibe alive. Music group, along with Alpha Sounds, presents the best of the best. Rake and Scrape Explosion Reloaded. This is the biggest one-day all-Bohemian concert of the year. Featuring KB, D-Mac, Abby, Mama D, Fan Sean, Shine 242, The Falcons, and more. Mark your calendars. It's going down November the 2nd at Super Club Races Ground. Tickets now available at BahamasEtickets.com or both Beauty Shack locations. General admission $60. VIP, Skybox, and Skypods also available. For more info, call 394-0819 or email keepthevibealive242@gmail.com. Experience the magic once again with more legends for one night only. Come party with us November 2nd at Best of the Best. Rake and Scrape Explosion Reloaded.
This is Guardian Radio 96.9 FM. Fresh news, smart talk, all day.
Foundation. Foundation.
And we are back, ladies and gentlemen, 96.9 FM radio. Howard Grant and your company. The foundation lines are wide open, guys. If you want to be able to be a part of the conversation, kind of chime in, I'd love you to do so. I'm waiting on my friend Garth. I don't know if he's coming in today. If he does, he'll be here. If he doesn't, praise God. He'll still be here in spirit. So I'm grateful that he's here. But I got to let you guys know a couple of things about campaign finance reform and what it can do. The objectives of campaign finance reform: 1, to reduce the influence of wealthy donors. To reform aims to limit the disproportionate power that wealthy individuals, corporations, and special interest groups may have over the politicians through large campaign donations. By implementing contribution cap and increased transparency, reforms seek to prevent politicians from being overly dependent on powerful financial backers. 2, leveling the playing field for candidates. 3, promoting transparency and accountability. 4, prevent corruption and conflicts of interest. 5, encourage public participation. And the types of corruption campaign finance reform seeks to eradicate is quid pro quo corruption, political patronage corruption, right? OPEC funding, which is dark money, and money laundering in politics, right? Undue influence from foreign interests. These are all things that we need to deal with transparency. Someone talk to me. These are things that we need to deal with transparency, as opposed to being indifferent with the particular idea. The first text that come through right off the top, and I come to your telephone call right now, I see a light up. Right, the first text that came through right off the top is a great show as usual, Howard. How in the world y'all expect the PM to deal with the campaign finance and NIGARD lock up? The first thing y'all will bring up is how much NIGARD and SAM donate on the PLP part. What does that have to do with anything? Prime Minister, from me to you, okay? From Howard that sits in this particular position to you. From my heart, I wouldn't bother with it. You touch campaign finance reform, I promise you, we'll give you a clean slate from I can give you a clean slate from right here going forward. I ain't gonna dabble in the darkness. And yesterday, I'm going to talk about the legislation, scrutinize that, and make sure it have the proper teeth that we expect it to have to be able to take a bite out of crime and corruption that exists in these particular spaces. I will go forward with you. My God, I will ride the wave with Brave going forward. I will not dive into the water and swim through the vomit of yesteryear. I promise you. Do not be afraid of who give you what yesterday, but know from now forward, you can't do that no more. That's all. That's all. We put that in the sea of forgetfulness. We will not dive into the ocean of forgetfulness to look for that and be able to bring that back, to regurgitate that to you. My God, we finished with that. We will move forward in this country. Let's be progressive. Pun intended, 100%. Let's be progressive in this stead. Lines open. Call on the line. Go ahead.
A pleasant good afternoon. How you doing, my brother?
Anton, fresh out the gate. What's happening with you, my brother?
Radio, man. How you doing?
Everything good, man. At radio.
excellent. Didn't catch the opening salvo, but I picked up on where, I guess, somewhere during your discussion about the PM's response at OPM's press conference regarding finance campaign reform, right?
Yes.
And, of course, this is one of the recommendations I've been making from Christie, former Prime Minister, Right Honorable Perry Gladstone Christie, was Prime Minister. Minister picked up on it, carried it out, carried it through in his promises, along with many other legislative and policy recommendations that I made. Minister started touting them, and he sounded like a golden boy. And the Bahamian people gave him a golden victory, but he never delivered. Prime Minister Davis has the opportunity now, my Prime Minister, right? I don't want, and I'm speaking directly to my PM now, personally, as perhaps one of your biggest supporters, PM, in action and in deed, not just mere talk, okay? In action and in deed, blood, sweat, and tears, not just those wannabes who are up underneath you now, giving you yes, yes, sir, yes, sir, yes, sir, yes, sir, and no reality-based, no honesty-based opinions, positions, and supported positions by evidence. Prime Minister Davis, sir, this is one you want to embrace. This policy decision, this legislative decision, amongst many others that supported, that undergirded, being campaign finance reform, sir, is one you want to embrace. Sir, this is an opportunity, a great opportunity presented to you right now to remove your name, like former prime ministers, from the position that when you had the power, you didn't do it. But now that you're in opposition, you have all kinds of solutions and telling the Bahamian people.
I tell him, I'll wear the egg on my face. Anton, I told him I will wear the egg on my face. Let me be one of the ones who said that I already said that the Prime Minister has two campaigns. He's running a parallel campaign. He have one local campaign, that's a scrap gang campaign, but there's an international campaign that is top tier, top notch.
I heard you with that.
Top tier, top notch. Let me have the yolk on my face. I'll take egg all over my face for the Prime Minister shift his focus from whatever he's doing into transforming this country for the next 2 years and putting legislation. I swear I will never swim back in the ocean and tell him, well, what about when NIGAD, you'll take NIGAD money? Right. Well, what about when you take Sam Bankman-Fried? I will say nothing about that.
Yeah, Howard, getting back on my focus so I don't forget what I was saying, right? But then addressing a little bit of what you just said. I first heard Doc, I don't remember his name, Dr. Smith, I think. That was when I interjected last week with you and God. When he would have called in making the claims about the de-average nation, when in fact it was the third grade graduate nation of the Bahamas who made all of the changes to this country, including the Constitution, which he and many others enjoy today, right? And may close their eyes to, but are benefiting from in all the ways that they are benefiting from today. All the possibilities that have opened up to all of us today, that third grade generation. And he would have also made the claim that he didn't just say NIGAD, he said SBF, right?
Yeah.
On what basis is he making such a silly claim? Because it is a stupid and silly claim. He has no evidence, and he's supposed to be a man who operates in science, and science is evidence-based. But he's on the airwaves pontificating nonsense. Nonsense! SBF was a creation of the former Hubert Minnis, Alexander Minnis-led FNM, failed FNM government, incompetent FNM government.
FDX, yes.
Sam Bankman-Fried, SBF. Friedman. Okay? And if you want to talk about contributions, it's most likely it went to the FNM, not the PLP. In addition to that, and anyway, you know what? Nonsense talk. Let me get back to my point, right? I'm Howard, PM Davis. I want to encourage you, PM, with all my might, with everything God puts in me, to pursue this freedom of information, to pursue this finance campaign reform, to pursue an ombudsman, to pursue all of the policies, sir, that will separate you in evidence, not just talk, from all other administrations, sir. All other administrations. I also want to encourage you simultaneously, sir. Simultaneously. See, you may have some of those who are around you, some of those weak people around you, not all of them, some of them, who despise to see progress for Bahamians, who don't have your heart, who don't want to see Bahamians get the best of the best in our own country, who want to keep their feet on the economic neck of Bahamians, including PLPs. Some of them right around you who would discourage you. But, sir, let me tell you something. The Bahamian people will honor you. They will lift you up. They will see you as someone who can be trusted if you do the things which you say you are going to do unapologetically, Mr. PM. You need make no apology for empowering PLPs, for empowering Bahamians, for lifting Bahamians up, for spending Bahamian money on Bahamians. You need make no apologies, sir. If you do it, sir, it will guarantee you another election because Bahamians are tired of people who just come with promises. Minister, at least he had the nerve, even though he said it too late, right? At least he had the nerve to go in Parliament and say the next, we recognized the errors that he would have made. And he said that his next term, he will dedicate to the poor and working class and middle class in the country. Right?
Anton, bye. You need to stop.
No, Howard, this is real talk right here. I'm trying to speak real truth, real grip, real foundation, real roots to power, to the man who's sitting in the chair right now, who has the opportunity right now before it slips out of his fingers, minding people around him who are discouraging him from moving in the right direction, that his heart has always been in favor of, that his action has always demonstrated throughout his entire life up to this point. PM, you need not make no apologies for empowering your people, sir, for doing right by your people, sir. Along with the campaign finance reform, sir, that will etch your name in history. Thank you for the opportunity, Howard. God bless.
Thank you, man. I appreciate you. Ladies and gentlemen, I see a text coming through. The lines are wide open. If you want to be able to join me, please do so. 323-6232, 325-4316, 325-4259, anywhere. For the family of islands, 242-300-5720. Quick break. Be right back after this.
Lord, them hear the disco playing. Bim! It make them feel like dancing. Roger, man. And me see you black at the microphone chanting. Bim! Chanting. Bim! Chanting. Yeah. You black at the microphone chanting. Bim! Chanting.
You try to rest, but roll with the best. For all your printing needs, there ain't no one better, no. For posters and banners, magazines and flyers, for window decals, greeting cards and newsletters. No job too big and there's no job too small. You name it, we can print it. Just give us a call. Let Print Masters bring your masterpiece to life.
Located in the Nassau Guardian Building, telephone 302-2361.
Bonneville Bones, established in 1970, is the leader in men's fashion in the Bahamas. We're conveniently located in the mall at Marathon and the Harbor Bay Shopping Plaza, and fully stocked with everything you need for all occasions. Our Harbor Bay location is one door north of Alive, with the black and white signage of Bonneville Boutique. Both locations are open from 10 to 7 p.m. Monday through Saturday. Bonneville Bones and Bonneville Boutique, still the leader in men's fashion. Located in the mall at Marathon and the Harbor Bay Shopping Plaza.
Are you tired of the same old 5K runs? Want something more? Then get ready for the Chick Charney Challenge City Run on September 28th, starting at Crypto Wild. Test your strength, stamina, and spirit. It takes all of you to dodge, climb, conquer obstacles as you race through the heart of the city. Lace up and get to the Chick Charney Challenge City Run. Register now on our website, chickcharneychurn.com, or on our social media pages. Brought to you by Colina, Island Yogurt, Advantage Insurance, Art of Graphics, Crypto Wild, and Guardian Radio 96.9.
Want to know more about divorce, personal injury, wills, company formation, conveyances, and mortgages? Then sign up for Hallsbury Chambers' 20th Annual Free Legal Clinic. Saturday, September 28th, 2024, Village Road North. Call 393-4551 to reserve your spot today. Space is limited. Lawyers available from 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. Consultations only. This is a community service event sponsored by Hallsbury Chambers.
This is Guardian Radio 96.9 FM. Fresh news, smart talk, all day.
Excuse me for the interruption. Boy, come under the great reminder to say this coming Friday, and please come over the lawn. You went to the man number one sound round town. And it's a Friday evening.
And we are back, ladies and gentlemen, 96.9 FM radio. Howard Grant in your company. September 20th out here, live and in full effect. Let's go straight to the lines. Is that a call on the line? Call on the line with us live. Go ahead.
Good day, Howard.
Thank you so much for holding, my dear. What's happening with you?
Listen, Howard, I would like to tip your hat, my hat on, Dwight hat off to Anton.
Okay, praise God.
Anton seems like he was in the spirit just now. I almost had, I almost felt fire and brimstone on my head with that phrase. Yeah. But I love the way he's now speaking. You understand? Because, I mean, he's always speak truth. However, he seemed to be turning a blind eye. You understand? And what the Prime Minister said about the BPL persons, he don't understand because he spoke to the unions himself and guaranteed them or assured them that their jobs were safe. He also assured us when they came in that the hotel in Freeport would have been sold. He also assured us so much things. So I hope he can backtrack and see why they are not holding him to his word anymore because, like Anton said, his heart is there, but the people around him, I'm pretty sure we sit and talk with Dr. Minister's heart is there also. He's a doctor. My God, we know the doctor's hearts are always there. May not be where we want it to be, but it's there. You understand?
Yeah.
So what the Prime Minister is doing with this flip-flopping and back and forth, and I think he's using the scare tactics now because the persons around him probably told him that if he let the people know that the public purse will be financing some of these campaigns, that they can say, no, you can't use our money for that. They'll be taxing us even more to scare us from asking for it. But I want it. I want it anyway.
I do want to do it. I want campaign finance reform.
Yeah, and if the public purse, and you could do me a favor too, Howard, while you are it. See if you could find out in the U.S. if their public purse finance any of their campaigns, any of their party campaigns, or something of that sort, to try and see what it is the Prime Minister was trying to get at, please.
I'll do that, my dear. I appreciate your telephone call. Thank you so very kindly for that. I want to talk to you also. Well, it's a text is coming through to me. Read this. It says, Howard, I'm confused about this happy and sad Anton. It said with this PLP party, something has been off a while now, and Anton unleashed the real truth in the name of Jesus. I guess they want to know your business, Anton. They want to know how deep you're going to get with these particular things. I just want to be able to say to the Prime Minister, in thought, word, and deed, please be transparent with us. Please do what your former colleagues never did. They haven't done. They have given us a portion of the story. We don't expect the sensitive information to be able to come to the forefront, but we want to hear the true story. And you ain't got nothing to lose. The same tactic that you're playing with Grand Bahama, there's sort of an idea that, you remember we talked about the fact that it's special teams? The idea that you can go for the whole hog to see if you could capture some other seats in Grand Bahama. I think the FNM is on to you now. They had a little gathering and walking around, which is going to be difficult. Listen to me. Let's just shoot straight. Let's talk from a political standpoint. That's a difficult thing that the Free National Movement has done. I don't think it was an easy decision to be made. But the Free National Movement to be able to collectively put their red shirts on the ground and protest against the Grand Bahama Port Authority places you in a very precarious situation when it comes down pursuing finances for your campaign at the next general election. So I'm hoping that you were calculated in your approach and being able to do that, not necessarily only just to show the Prime Minister up that we don't carry the water for the Grand Bahama Port Authority. I think historically we know that there has been a relationship, like Michael Bintard has indicated, there has been that all of us has benefited, meaning all political parties have benefited from that particular that entity being in Grand Bahama. And so the PLP, I believe, by being able to take it to the House, with the Grand Bahama Port Authority, they have placed themselves in this sort of position where, all right, win, lose, or draw, we can give it our all, and hopefully giving it our all and make people to see, and the electorate to understand that we are advocates for Grand Bahamians and the betterment of their lives, the betterment of their family, easy access and opportunity for them to be able to truly grow and moving them out of this sort of socioeconomic cloud that exists over Grand Bahama. The PLP did their best. They did their best. Now the FNM jumping on that stage and trying to be able to agitate for the exorbitant power bills that's happening on the Grand Bahama right now. I don't know. It would have been powerful to see FNM, PLP, COI, DNA, and whoever else stand collectively in their shirts, representing one, the electorate, and representing two, the community at large. That would have been a stronger view. But y'all can't organize that like that. Y'all can't organize that like that. Let's have this kind of a conversation. The Prime Minister is doing his best as it relates to being able to present himself strong against the Grand Bahama Port Authority. But you got to be stronger than that. You got 2 years, and you then promise us good governance and integrity. You then promise us accountability. You got 2 years to go. Put campaign finance on the table, chop it down, come to public discourse, come to the public to be able to hear some things. Let's chop it down. Let's go over the course of 2 months. Let's be able to identify those things, debate it in the House of Assembly, pass it. Let's make it happen. Let's make it happen. It's not casual about it. Let's make the thing happen. And let us all have yoke on our face. They say, oh my God, he do it, eh? Jesus, I didn't know he was going to do that. He did it. And let us clap for you. You may find yourself victorious because Bahamian people need change. And to eradicate corruption, the first thing you got to do is touch people's money. That's how you got to deal with it. You got to dry up that well. That's what needs to be done. You got to dry up this well. Perceived or hidden or the dark, we need transparency to get to a place that we can feel that there's productivity in this country. Caller, then I go ahead.
Howard, how you doing? Cialan.
Hey, what's up, Cialan?
Why you say you have to put it on the table? It's been on the table. It's part of the platform for the Blueprint for Change.
It is.
You mean you want it to remain on the table?
It is. They've talked about it. You and I spoke about this more specifically.
Right. No, I just say because just now you just said.
From a legislative standpoint, from in the House of Assembly, not from their political standpoint, in the House of Assembly.
Howard, how much you think preserving our democracy is worth? 10 million a year, 20 million a year? 10 million every 5 years, 20 million every 5 years. So like
whatever it takes.
I'm simply saying, like you say. Let's say at best you have 3 candidates because you set some benchmark for them to meet to be able to qualify for campaign support. But let's say you give each person $200,000, so that's $12 million for the integrity of the Bahamas, and then you put another threshold above that for campaign contributions, but you could even balance it to simply say, any deficiencies happen, such and such, the beauty about it is, right, we don't have to look around the world, except we know what integrity and these things requires. We could set our own hybrid, and we could simply decide that 10 million a year, 10 million every 5 years, I say per election, is a small price to pay. We're paying $70 million a year for consultants. Imagine 10 million every 5 years to preserve the integrity of our democracy. And so I think it's very vital that we have this conversation. But guess what it does, Howard? If you, Howard, you, me, and some other person, or each have an equal amount, then it becomes a contest of ideas, not one of money.
That's it. That is it. That is all.
Yes. And so we can, we haven't done anything since 1973. And this is a unique opportunity for us to step up to the plate and have a conversation. The Prime Minister has 800 days or more, right, based on constitutionally. So there is no excuse for this not to being done. This is so integral to our continued development that this should take a priority. But rest assured, Howard, if it's not done, the incoming administration will do it.
I doubt that.
Agitate on day one.
I doubt that.
No, it will. It will. And I'm sure you, Mr. Michael Pintar, the FNM, is not afraid of the 21st century. Is not afraid of a debate of ideas rather than money. We are ready. Oh. FNM.
Thank you, my brother. I do appreciate the telephone call. I just want to be able to say this with clarity and understanding. I think it's time for us to be able to transform our position to reform, to be able to move along the course and the trajectory for growth and development in this country. And I don't think anyone should be afraid to make these decisions. Listen to me. You're damned if you do and damned if you don't. I just shooting straight with you. You're damned if you do and damned if you don't. That's what we've identified from this political standpoint. I don't care how much road you build in this country. I don't care if you stand up on the back of the Jeep Wrangler with your two fingers hanging in the air and swinging to say that we finally done this after all the tribulation and the songs that you've made about me. After all these things, and people could look back in retrospect to identify that you've done a wonderful job and we appreciate the free flow of what's happening in the city of Nassau, you are still damned. Because you lose. You then lose the people, you then lose their position, but you now have a legacy to lean on to indicate that you could fortify your position, that he is a man of his word. So said, so done. That's for Hubert Ingram. That's for Hubert Ingram. They tried to be able to put to prop up former Prime Minister Perry Christie with the same concept and idea after such a fumbling of the bag as it relates to what was happening at Bahama, and being able to open up the House of Assembly in Bahama and being able to talk about those things to show that after all we would have gone through, after the years of tribulation that we would have gone through, even after the issues that exist with Sarkis's Meridian, the PLP has done a wonderful thing by ensuring that we can see this opportunity through and being, that's it. That is the diamond in the hat of the former Prime Minister, the feather in the cap of the former Prime Minister, the generation that he served in politics. That's the only thing he can put in his hat to say that I've done this particular thing. And that's what they're trying to prop him up with. You're damned if you do, and you're damned if you don't. You might as well do. You might as well do. At least you could sleep in the night to say, well, I did that. A positive thing for the country. Campaign finance reform. Freedom of information. Whistleblowers. Ombudsman. That's what you write in the book, and I swear I agree with you 100%. But if you don't do it, you're still useless to the forward movement and progression of the Bahamian society. Quick break, news, be right back after this.
I did more off the game. Them want to stay with them, can't sit down, I'm saying. Oh Lord, play 45, let's keep them alive. Play this comic, they want to jump in.
This is Guardian Radio, your station for up-to-the-minute news, intelligent, interactive, and engaging conversation. 96.9 FM.
Excuse me for my interruption. Boy, come, another quick reminder to say, this coming Friday, and please come over the lawn. You went to the man number one town round town. And this a Friday evening. Bim! The people.
And we are back, ladies and gentlemen. Give me a call, join in conversation. We're just chopping the thing down, having a good conversation with you today. Just starting off talking about campaign finance reform and where we are on those particular things. 323-6232, 325-4316, 325-4259. Anywhere from the family violence, 242-300-5720. Hit me up, 422-4796. We're just talking about campaign finance reform and the perceived apparent flip-floppy, wishy-washy approach that our Prime Minister has taken to ensure that he can always be in your good graces. Can I say that? Prime Minister, I start this off by telling you I love you. I mean that. I listen, I try to be respectful to men that I look up to. I just want to be decent. The Christian in me and the conviction that exists in me, I got to identify you no matter how close, and I could be able to hold a little piece of your purple robe in my hand. I respect your authority. I respect your office. I respect the position that God has placed you in. And I don't care how we feel, the indifference, I know from a biblical standpoint, in my conviction, in my heart, that you were sent. I don't care what you think you did or what others think you did to be able to get this position. I know that the Father allowed you to be here for the season that we're in. But the Father also allowed me to have a mouth and a mic. He gave me that chance. Give me an opportunity. The Father also allowed from 1992 those persons to call in and be able to place their complaint for the nation to hear them. And we're going to do that. As we look at you, we recognize, and I hear this kind of a default that people say, but we're only human. Now, okay, I'm not going to fight you for that. But you got to find some sort of Herculean strength within yourself and find the bravity, the braveness, my God, pun intended. Find the brave posture to make this decision. My God, from they called you brave that day, you didn't know it was for this time. From the day they call you brave, I don't care if you kill a lion that day while they say, my God, he's brave, eh? That wasn't for then. That is for now. That in the midst of being able to look at the cultural normity and the tradition that exists in this politics, in this country, as you look it into the eyes, and it requires you to be able to yield and genuflect and go forward with the same traditions and concepts, that you stand firm and you say, hell no, baby, I got to do this. You got to do it. You got to do this. You got to do this. Don't allow anyone to be able to steer you off course. I see that your chairman has come out, and I see this is why you'll need a delivery unit, you know. You'll need a delivery unit in the PLP to understand if for the next 800 days, like the fella say, C. Allen say, 700 and some, 800 days, however you call it, whatever you want to call it. You got more than 700 days. 2 years, 365 days, 3 and 3 is 6, 6 and 6 is 12. That's 730 days. You got this time, okay? You got this time. More than 730 days for you to find yourself in a position and make a strong decision. You got your chairman came out and indicated went absolutely contrary to what your blueprint for change say. My God, you'll need to carry this in a meeting with you all. Carry this in a meeting with you. Because you can't come out here and say one thing and then your book say something entirely different. You is not in tune with your own book. Somebody open up the meeting and open up the book the same time. You say this in your own book. I'm not reading nothing what nobody else can tell me how it say this. Nobody etched nothing on my tongue to say to you. I'm reading your book. You tell us you can deal with immigration also. That's what you said. You said we commit to strengthening the nation's borders as a matter of priority. But that's not what we've seen over the course of your last 3 years. We've seen a shuffle in a position. We've seen a shuffle, a scuffle, and a assumed debacle. We've seen this. And so we recognize that this is definitely not priority. We've recognized that, and as we look at that, we say, well, there's no integrity in this particular position, and there's no accountability in this position either. But you've followed the line, the traditional line that we've seen the PLP travel over the years. And that's what's happened, you know. That's what has happened. No matter how much training you do, if you're a southpaw, right, at boxing, if you're a southpaw, no matter how much training you do to make modifications to be able to trick your opponent, after you get a couple blows, you go right back to what is natural for you. You go right back to what is natural for you. You forget your form. You forget your posture. You forget your training and go right back to that natural inclination in your spirit. And that is what has happened. I'm watching you as a leader, and I'm watching the PLP reform and transform and go back to the traditional ways. This is not the new day that you speak of. I'm watching you, you know. I am watching you. When you said, let me tell you, I tell you all this, we talked about this. When the Prime Minister saw that he was getting heat from Michael Pintard in this particular position after he relentlessly pushed back against what the Grand Bahama Port Authority has done and trying to be able to be decent with that, and the Prime Minister came on the TV, on the People TV, and said, well, I don't know, it just seemed to be a water boy. That is a PLP language that we will never forget. Now, everyone on social media who understands the traditional approach to politics in this country can call this man a water boy. We will never forget the approach that the PLP has taken historically. But this is a new day. My God, you shouldn't do that. Somebody should say that to you. Prime Minister, hire me. I didn't dream you hired me. Amen. Hire me. I'll take a job. I don't want no seat. I don't run. But hire me. Just so I could be in the room and say, that is stupid. That's all. I just want to be there and say, that is a stupid thing that this man said. You should fire him. That's it. That's it. And then among all of us, this collective counsel, you can find wisdom in that. You got to do that. Because what you do and going against what you said you would do. Decency. Telephone. Call on the line. Go ahead.
Good afternoon, Mr. Grant.
Good afternoon. How you doing, Miss Gilmore? All is well?
Why you like to go to my name?
Okay, sorry about that. Good afternoon. How you doing, my dear? All is well?
Can I have your permission, please?
Yes, ma'am. I give you permission.
Deviate from what you're talking about?
Yes, ma'am. Go ahead.
I mean, because I've been trying to build up courage for quite some time now to ask this question.
Go ahead, let me hear it.
Right just now, let me say, what I'm going to ask you about has nothing to do with what you're talking about.
I accept it.
But I believe what I'm interested in might interest a number of people.
Okay.
And you remember when our monies, when all the 1 cent pieces were collected?
Yes, ma'am.
And it was done by Central Bank, right?
Yes, ma'am.
So as it stands now, anytime you go to the store,
they round it up or round it down?
It should be rounded up or rounded down. But what I have observed is that when you go to the store, and let's say something costs 27 cents, the stores, what they do is when they're giving you the change, they round it up or off. They keep the 3 cents. You don't get that change. Why is that? Even though it might be 1 cent, 2 cents, or 3 cents, you're being robbed. How is it the food stores don't have, or the stores haven't rounded their sales price? Or
I don't know. I have to ask one of the retailers.
Hello?
Yes, ma'am. I have to ask one of the retailers for specifics in that area, right? Because I know that only governs this jurisdiction. The rounding up, the rounding down, the eradication of the cent, or the eradication of the penny, that only governs our jurisdiction. But when they're purchasing from overseas, whether it's China, whether it's the United States of America, they are subject to the prices that exist in those particular spaces. And they have to now ensure that they provide the pricing, including their hiked price, so they can get their profit in it. They have to provide that when they put it on the shelf. And so the only time that you will be able to see the rounding up or rounding down is at the cash register. Now, they should know maths. If it's past 25, you go up. If it's under 25, you go down. So I don't...
But the customer usually is the one that loses.
I think the thinking...
And the salesperson gains.
I think
I have been watching this. I've been watching this especially in sort of the fast food places. Like, you know, there's food items. They say, let's say the thing costs $9.97. You pay out of $20. You don't get a three. You don't. You lose. You lose. They give you They give you. You don't get the 3 cents difference. You should get what? $10.03, eh? But if they round it off, you should get. I'm confused with it.
Well, I can get somebody. Because I know
the consumer doesn't benefit.
I'll get someone to be able to dive deeper into that conversation. Let me tell you why. Because I think that the thinking was there will be balance. There will be a social balance. Some days you'll have to be able to lose that 3 cents. Some days you'll gain a penny or two. You understand? And so with the regular transactions, you'll be able to see a social balance. But I definitely be able to dive deeper into that conversation. I appreciate your telephone call, though.
Yeah, I'm sorry to have deviated.
No, I appreciate your call.
But, this has been bothering me for a little while, and I don't see why I should be losing my 2 cents, 3 cents, or what have you, because it all adds up to make that $1.
Yeah. I definitely be able to.
Thank you very much.
I appreciate
time,
you.
Sir.
Thank you so much for your telephone call. Let me tell you what I can do. I can ask Zhivago Lang, but I know that he's not prepared to have this kind of a conversation tonight. Guys, if you didn't hear, Zhivago Lang lost his mother last evening. And I only learned this morning after listening to Adrian Francis. I wanted to see what he was saying, right? Pops up on my phone. And listening to Adrian starts to be able to talk about his relationship with Zhivago's mother, who's his aunt, is his oldest aunt, his mother's sister, oldest sister, so forth and so on. And he dived into this kind of a relationship that they had and started to talk about how September is such a strong time for him. Last year he lost Obi. This year he lost one of his best friends in the person of Zhivago Lang's mother. And so we continue to be able to pray for him and pray for the family. And I think, it was such a somber thing coming into this kind of a space today. It was somber coming into The Guardian today and having this information. Some people didn't have the information, then you tell it to them, and then, they get all kind of sober and somber. But, everyone don't requires this kind of a somber nature. Everybody don't require that. There needs to be acknowledgement that the life that was and the life that served. This don't go for everybody, but this go for some people who've contributed significantly. We have to celebrate lives that have served our country and served our community with passion, with determination, with heart, with transparency, and know that we are better simply because we met these people, in comparison to crying and asking Jesus who can fill their shoes. My God. Oh God, this particular person gone, that particular person gone. Zhivago Lang doesn't do a show without being able to mention how his mother listens to the show. Check me out on channel 965. That's how my mother's listened to the show. He doesn't miss a time to always acknowledge and pull his mother into the conversation. So I know that there is a great depth of love that exists in this particular space. I've heard about her and heard of her from a political standpoint from a very long time. I know that her contribution, consciousness, and being able to speak into many a life about their contribution to the nation and how that can happen is a wonderful thing. And so I want to be able to celebrate the life of Zhivago Lang's mother and her contribution to life with her seed, with her voice, with her heart, with her passion in the life that was. I think it's important that we do that. I think we're wrapped up in this sort of an idea of crying for those persons who've transitioned. But there's a greater place beyond the threshold. And as we step into eternity, once we're prepared, my God, there's a reward on the other side. And so I want to be able to celebrate it for that and be able to talk about those things. Guys, we're still talking about these things now. Let's just be decent about it. We got a call that's asking us about some stuff. I wrote it down, and I want to be able to, what is it, Penny conversation, right? We had a call about this, and so I want to be able to dive deeper into that and get some clarity on those particular things. I think a lot of us are now looking at that and seeing how we can be able to pull that back, or whether or not we're losing anything. But we're talking about the Prime Minister. We're talking about campaign finance reform. We're talking about the Ombudsman. We're talking about Whistleblowers Act. We're talking about all these things with transparency, integrity, and this sort of commitment that the PLP has made to the people. Amen. And we don't see that thing coming to the forefront. The lines are, if you want to be able to call in, 323-6232, 325-4316, 325-4259, anywhere from the Family of Islands, 242-300-5720. Hit me up, 422-4796. Call on the line with us live. Go ahead.
Hey, Howard, what's up, man?
I'm good, man. What's up?
Let me send condolences to Zhivago Lang on the passing of his mom.
Yeah.
Former Senator Naomi Seymour. She played a very integral role in the F&M, and as a senator, she played a significant role in her role as a senator in the government. So, I hope Mr. Lang and his siblings find peace in this most difficult time. I know that the Lord don't ever put more on you than you can bear.
Yeah.
So I hope they find peace in this time.
Yeah, man.
Is it safe to say that the Blueprint for Change is a contract between the PLP administration and the Bahamian people?
Yes.
So if you hire a contractor to build your house, and you give that contractor, you both off and specific instructions, you sign off on that. That contractor could put a split level on your house, could put an Olympic-sized pool in your backyard. Far as you can sign at the end of your contract, that was not my contract. That ain't what we agreed on. So far as you can sign that contract,
No matter how good it look.
No matter how good it look, that's not what we sign off on. That's
Where the
not in
clause that I
contract.
asked you for? You ain't put that there.
Exactly.
Okay.
So is it safe to say, based on what we're seeing right now with the Blueprint for Change in this administration, is it safe to say that the PLP administration hasn't adhered to their contract between them and the Bahamian people?
So far, they haven't.
So is it safe to say that come election time, they could be fired justifiably?
Well, one thing about firing in this kind of a stand, you don't need justification. There just needs to be frustration because the.
When I say fired, I mean when I say fired, I mean voted out of office.
Yeah.
Because based
Yeah, but
on what they agreed to do for the Bahamian people.
Yeah. See,
We didn't ask you for this. We didn't ask you for this. This is what you tell us you're gonna do. We didn't ask you what to do. You tell us this what
But
you
see,
can do
that's
for
the
us.
issue that we having right now. We don't know who tell the PLP to do this. That's the issue we having. We don't know whether or not one of your big donors require a certain thing, and you dead gung ho on focusing for the development of these particular concepts and ideas, and you're moving fast with that simply because you had a donor and you had a commitment that you were supposed to make. But none of us know these things. We don't know none of this.
And nobody's saying nothing.
We don't know. And
Nobody's
we're looking,
saying
trying to figure out when you're going to do campaign finance reform. And they say, well, we don't know if our big donors go want us to be able to put the information. That's the entire idea.
Simple as the Freedom of Information Act. I mean, these are things that the framework for the Freedom of Information Act is already being in place. Implement it. Implement it.
Yeah.
You tell us this what you can do. We ain't ask you for this. We ain't ask you for this. The people are so pissed off with minister to vote for you anyway without this. But you and your big mouth say, listen, I can give you all this. I can give you all that, but I need
And
you
listen,
all to do that
the
thing for me.
PLP been working on this for years, you know. They've been working on this for years. From they lost, and they went to their convention, and they went to modifications of the organization, and they went to the constitutional changes that they've made, and then they went to the aspirants. They've been working their behinds off. They never take a day off.
So if you said that you was going to do all of these things, why should I believe you now when you stand in front of the podium and say you can do something different? When you say we can do this, we can do that. You haven't done what you said you was going to do originally. So why should I believe you now when you say you can come do something?
Man.
I have no incentive in this. I have no trust in you no more
Well,
because
the
you already broken
PLP,
my
they
trust.
still have revival is still theirs to have. One thing about
Man,
revival and
exactly.
redemption, you could have it up until the day that, either you cross over to the next side or voting day. That's judgment day.
Next year we go into campaign mode.
Yeah.
So the country business getting put on the back burner.
Yeah, the country business, the PLP better make the business of the country their business.
No, it's like I say, most of the stuff they sign off now, it ain't gonna happen. When I say it ain't gonna happen, it ain't gonna happen under their term because by the time they finish with all the legal framework and MOU and all the legal stuff, they're ready probably be into into election. So the people ain't gonna feel what they put in place or what they sign off on. These stuff which should happen from day one. When you come into office, boom, campaign reform, boom, Freedom of Information Act. Deal with the little small, low-hanging fruit first. Get them out the way. Let people see you doing something. But all the people seeing is the what do you call it? The jet clouds. That's all we seeing.
What you mean
Yeah, the things where it's being a cloud from the jets when they're flying over. That's all we seeing from the prime minister. There goes the prime
You
minister.
all need to stop. You need to stop. Not even the prime minister. You need to stop. I appreciate your telephone call, my brother.
All right,
Thank you
man.
so much, man. We see it as the jet clouds. You need to stop. All right? It says, Howard, love the points that you're making today and for helping people understand the day-to-day impact and the importance of transparency and accountability. Campaign finance reform might be started by a politician, but it will take an active citizen to bring it over the wire. Public will can move political will. Public will can move political will. Do you will this change? Are you pushing for this? Do you wish to see transformation? Let's talk about it. Quick break, guys. We're going to talk about this and just talk about these things. This would be decent, man. As I talk to the Prime Minister, no, I say this in love. I don't have no issue with you. Just like I tell Ginger, I ain't got no problem with her. Just like I tell Joe Bet, I ain't got no problem with her. You all got a job, I got a job. And I'm not going to lie on my job. I didn't put a blueprint for change out, but I ain't going to lie to you. I put the armor of Christ on and stand in my convictions. I ain't going to lie to none of y'all. I can tell you the truth. Let's take a quick break. Be right back after this.
And it's a Friday evening, bim, the people them tired of working. Lord, them hear the disco playing, bim, it make them feel like dancing. Roger man, and me see you black at the microphone chanting, bim,
Tired of banks forcing you to use technology to bank the way they want you to? Your convenience is important. So no matter what your banking needs, Commonwealth Bank's friendly staff are always available in branch for that personal one-on-one service. But when you choose technology, our online and mobile banking app offers you state-of-the-art functionality. The choice is yours. Commonwealth Bank. Bank the way you want.
It's back to school season, and Wendy's is bringing it in with a special treat. For a limited time, receive a free apple pie with the purchase of a biggie bag. Choose from Dave's single or chicken sandwich, junior fries, 4-piece nuggets, a 20-ounce drink, and a free apple pie on us. This offer won't last long, so visit your nearest Wendy's and grab your biggie bag and free apple pie today.
The Grand Bahama News is available every Tuesday in the Nassau Guardian. You can buy your local paper at Freeport convenience stores, Western Bakery, De Gregory's Fine Foods, and Bellevue Gifts. Now is the time to reach your Grand Bahama market with affordable packages, including print and digital. Call GB News sales representative Kavandre at 822-6717 or message him on WhatsApp for ad rates. Classified ads are now available every Tuesday as well. Keep up with everything Grand Bahamian every Tuesday in the Nassau Guardian.
Love the show? Want to give your support? Become a sponsor today. Call 302-2300 for our rates and packages. That's 302-2300. Become a sponsor on Guardian Radio 96.9 FM. Fresh news, smart talk, all day.
This is Guardian Radio 96.9 FM. Fresh news, smart talk, all day.
Excuse me for the interruption. Boy, come under the great reminder to say this coming Friday, and please come over the lawn. You went to the man number one town round town, and it's a Friday evening. Bim!
And we are back, ladies and gentlemen. What is it about Fridays? I try to be chill and relax and have a good conversation with y'all and engage y'all, but for some reason, I just get hot on a Friday. I don't understand why. I try to be chill. I got all my short pants on today, got my little 3/4 pitch kicks on. I feel good. I ain't got a haircut. I'm waiting on that. The man ain't called me back yet. I gotta get that. But I feel good. But I'm just disappointed. I'm disappointed in the approach that these men have taken. Listen, man, if I could tell you all anything, I believe in you all, man. I believe in your integrity. I believe that given this position that you shouldn't allow yourself to be corrupted or even perceived to be corrupted. I believe that you should do as a man said that he will do. I believe that. With my whole heart, I believe that. I don't care how they feel about it. As man. And this is what I've done. And if you have a problem with it, then let's fight. That's how I feel as a man. As a man, you get to make a decision. And we've all given you the authority to make the decisions on our behalf. But you've committed to some decisions that you would make. Don't allow these men with ulterior motives that don't carry the love of Jesus Christ in their heart. Not one day they have rejected the idea of God, and they don't believe that Christianity even exists here. And you genuflect and affording them opportunities to be able to sit in your council, and then you want to call this place a Christian nation. That can't work. You got to let some of these men go. Oh, Jesus, I'm getting preachy. You need to let some of these indecent men go. They don't have the heart of revival and rejuvenation in this nation to be able to see the Bahamian people find themselves in the position to get out of this slum, this way of life, this slum. And you believe that people could just will their way out of it. The devil is a liar. We can't just will our way out of it. You think alcohol, you got more alcohol coming in this country than anybody could imagine. I just listened to my girl Celestial start to talk about the Caribbean the other day. Y'all listen to Celestial? You listen to Celestial? Who's Celestial? The Master's Voice. Go check it out. She put a little prophecy out there. Howard, did you listen to that? Yes. The discernment on Howard Grant is heavy. I heard some things. I know what I hear. I know what line up in my spirit. I watch Celestial relentlessly. Amen. I just want to be decent with you. She started to talk about how the Caribbean is some of the biggest drunkards in life. 46 million people in the Caribbean. And all we could do is sit on the porch, talk with people, drink rum, fornicate, lie to each other about how we as good Christians. Jesus Christ Almighty, Lord, Father, forgive me. I just want to be decent as I talk this with you. I just want to be decent. How you could lie about your homosexual nature in the forefront and talk about you as a Christian in the back and think Jesus Christ can accept these things. We are nothing but a bunch of drunkard liars. All of us. I make no exemption. I don't separate myself from this, but I know that there is a Redeemer. My God, I can't get an amen. And in the midst of redemption, I seek to move in accordance to the will, that His will for my life. I just want to be decent as I say this with you. I didn't say I fall down. I didn't say I made some horrible decisions. I didn't say I break some hearts and my heart was broken. I didn't say none of that. I said as I got up, I understand that I got to be able to keep my eyes on Him. You can't pull these men whose heart is stone, who have been given over to a reprobate mind. You can't put them in leadership positions and believe that as they serve at the pleasure of the Prime Minister, that's why you ease God out of the situation. And you can't understand why they're in reform. You can't understand why they're in a crack in this for you, because you have eased God out and believe that your position, that you are supreme. You have to humble yourself. And this ain't just for the Prime Minister, it's for us as men in leadership positions. You got to humble yourself and understand that you didn't put yourself here. Oh my God, you ain't born yourself. You didn't immaculate conception yourself. Your daddy in his indecent ways lied to your mother in many instances. Get a slice and you reach. But my God, that ain't mean you was a mistake. You still have a responsibility. And the Prime Minister, for the years that you've lived, to take on this position and make a commitment to the Bahamian people, then simultaneously say this ain't even important. Then come back and say, well, it ain't really off the table. You confusing us. You can do it or you ain't gonna do it. If you ain't gonna do it, don't talk about it no more. Let it go. Don't talk about it no more. Let it go. If news reporters start to ask you about campaign finance reform, say next question, please. Don't talk about it no more if you ain't gonna touch it. But if you are going to be a man of your salt, my God, I can't get an amen. Just do it. Just do it. Just do it. Get it done. And watch this country change. Eradicate this corruption that exists here. Touch the people money. The PFP ain't getting nowhere. You still go in as an organization, whether you got $8 billion or whether you get 800,000. It don't make a difference. You still gonna be here. It's just that those liars and thieves and charlatans within your organization got to now fall off. Ain't nothing that for me. Now we could see people who have a desire for community come to the forefront. Because ain't nothing there to thief. Let's talk and be real. Don't lie to yourself. Let's be honest in our thoughts, in our words, and in our deeds. Call on the line, go ahead.
Howard.
Hey, what's up, Antonio? Back.
Yes, sir. Wait more. Let me go quickly. I wrote it down so I could just see through it. Hopefully everybody can keep up. First and foremost, Howard, thank you very much. I had no idea. I just learned when you make the announcement. My heartfelt condolences to Brother Lang and his entire family on the passing of their matriarch, former Senator Naomi Seymour. I know that Zhivago loved his mother dearly because, as you said, Howard, not one show takes place on Guardian where not only does he announce that his mother listens via cable television, but he also speaks very positive words and memories of his childhood and adulthood and the lessons that he would have gained from his mother and the relationships and how our relationship spanned across multiple prime ministers, not just of the FNM origin, PLP and FNM. And so I know that Brother Lang must be feeling a lot of pain, but he also always spoke about the fact that she was a woman of God. And so I know that he's contented knowing that she's with our Father, in the bosom of our Father. So thank you very much for that information, Howard. Now, Howard.
Go ahead.
Howard.
I'm right here.
Okay. Reprobate mind. Man of your thought. Corruption. New day thinking. All words that came from your mouth during your conversation on your show today. This very heated show. Hot and important show. Let me say, Zhivago. Let me say, Howard. Public will. This was something that you talk about as well. Public will can move political will. And I have that as Howard Grant quote. I also want to add, Howard, very true, but let me add to this critical piece in there. It should never have to come down to public will to move, influence, or direct political will. Ultimately, political will should be swayed by leaders who are in true tune with the people it is responsible for leading. Anton Thompson, attribute that to me, Howard. It should never come down to people having to sway. You understand what I'm saying, Howard?
Yeah.
Can you hear me clearly?
I'm right here. Go ahead.
The last caller was making the gentleman, he was making some very good points, but his mean point was premature, calling for a loss of confidence in the government because, as he said, it did not deliver on what it promised, right? You remember that, gentleman?
Yes, yes.
Howard, it's premature because there's still 2 years left in the administration, right? And so there's still a little light. Although the dawn is dawning on that light, there's still a little light left, Howard, right? Moving quickly into my real point. It's not only that one goes, and this is something that you spoke about, Howard, that I'm piggybacking off of. It's not only that one goes back to what you know, because a positive position promoted to the nation wasn't original of you. Let me add in what I want to say here now. Okay. It's also that the key person, and Howard, the reason why I'm falling back is because this is the second time I heard you mention the delivery unit. The first time you did it, there wasn't time for me to call in. But I want to edify the nation on something, why I'm making this point here. It's also that the key person or persons who was in the room, who was truly the driving force behind the New Day thinking, is no longer in the room, Howard. And the persons who are in the room, who was clearly based upon great evidence, the nation is either hearing, seeing, and or experiencing, or not the true New Day thinkers. Okay? But in evidence and fact of failing or otherwise, the New Day thinking, which the Bahamian people fell in love with and voted in office overwhelmingly. You heard what I said, Howard?
Yeah.
You may not get it all as I say it, but play it back, Howard. Play it back.
No, I get exactly what you say.
The delivery unit, Howard? Oh, Howard,
so he used
unit.
you for your thinking, and then when he get in office, he identified who he want to put himself around.
Yes.
Okay.
You shun the bright mind aside, the incorruptible aside. You shun the people who
put the blood, sweat, and tears aside. You use them almost and set them aside for others who are failing you.
Anton,
and
this
evidence is demonstrating.
Anton,
Howard?
this feels very personal, but go ahead.
It's not personal, man. Howard.
No, I know. I don't want to diminish it. I'm saying to you, a lot of persons have called in and they've said Anton has been extremely transparent as of late. What is going on? We love this kind of contribution that Anton is making. Now we could hear a piece of your heart. Talk to me. I'm not going to fight you. Go ahead.
Yes, you're right. You're hearing a piece of my heart, right? And person, but just take 30 seconds, Howard, before I get to my last point and say this, so that people don't become misguided in what I'm saying. I'm speaking from my heart, Howard. I'm speaking because what I poured into the last election, Howard, I'm not seeing come about in any real way. You and the last caller hit some very critical points out. Howard, had we come, look, and you know what, this takes me back to your discussion yesterday. Howard, we could accomplish everything or get a big chunk of everything that we promised in the blueprint for change right in this very administration. But you know what it takes, Howard? It takes working extremely hard every day from the first day to the last day. That's how you'll get it done. Not only that, having the right people in the room with the right motivation who understand how to get it done. Who could tell you, who could draw a road map for you, a blueprint, similar to what the architects do, similar to what the structural engineers do, similar to what the mechanical engineers do. Who can draw you a blueprint of exactly how to get it done from point 1 to point 100 or from point A to point B. You understand what I'm saying, Howard? That is what is lacking in the room, Howard. That is what is missing in the room, Howard. And we see it in the evidence. The evidence. I don't care what nobody come behind and try to say. I don't care what the private shit shut up, what people will try to come about. The evidence, the proof is in the pudding, Howard. Getting back to my last point, Howard. The delivery unit, Howard. This unit is not and was not the vision of the person serving in the office. There was nowhere around. And the capacity, currently, Howard, the capacity, let me inform you, Howard, this unit is the vision of two like-minded thinkers. Number one, or the first person, Clifford Butch Scavala, Odavi Lutra. And the second person, Anton Thompson, who's on the phone line with you right now.
Thank you.
Right now.
Okay.
Let me tell you, Howard, when the original conversation came about, we were in opposition and Christie was the leader of the PLP. Me and Butch always would be hooking on positive points for the Bahamian people. And after him hearing me so much on so many different points, he said, you know what, Anton, what you are describing is a delivery unit, and you would be the perfect person to lead it. You hear what I'm saying to you, Howard?
But the PLP doesn't have a delivery unit.
We do have a delivery unit.
Where?
But Howard, hold on. You hear what you just said? But the PLP doesn't have a delivery unit. That's an indictment within itself, Howard. We do have a delivery unit,
Hold on.
Howard.
Just in the unit that they indicated that Jerome Gomez is heading out of the office of the Prime Minister.
Gomez.
Jerome
Fitzgerald.
Fitzgerald.
Yeah.
That's the unit there?
Yeah.
But that don't exist.
See,
that don't
Howard,
exist.
That's an indictment within it. Howard.
Of course it's an indictment because it don't exist. I don't see it.
Listen, you Howard.
Jerome should have been on the station with me all the time, having a conversation at least once a month. Hey, listen, the PLP has indicated this.
Listen, Howard. I want you to hear me, man, Howard. I want you to hear me. That office, I call that an office. That is so critical, Howard. That is like a mean ventricle to the heart. You hear what I'm saying to you, Howard? That's how much impact, positive impact, that particular unit should be having on the government and the Bahamian people. PLPs alike.
But the unit does not exist. In theory it does, but in practical applications that you can feel and see something tangible, it is non-existent.
You have to go back to what we originally started to talk about, Howard. The original vision there is not in the room. And I wish I could use some stronger language, Howard. Listen, when something in your vision, my brother, you will never be able to get the full benefits nor full capacity,
Anton,
nor will you ever have the full understanding of the potential of that creation, because it is not your vision.
Anton,
the only thing you could do is provide something that looks alike.
My God. Anton, I got to let you go, but you're hot today. I want to thank you so much for your contribution and being able to say these things, my brother. Let me take this quick commercial break and be right back after this.
Tired of working. Lord, them hear the disco playing. Bim! It make them feel like dancing. Roger, man. And me see you black at the microphone chanting. Bim! Chanting. Bim! Chanting. Yeah. You black at the microphone chanting. Bim! Chanting.
Do you have uncontrollable debt? Are you ready to make that move to Fidelity for a stress-free future? These loans have a built-in savings plan that pays you unbeatable interest. Ask about our debt consolidation loans today. Call 356-7764.
Fidelity, we're good for you.
Great news! Ron's Electric Motors' new location on Cowpen Road, right next to Island Luck, is open Saturdays and Sundays. So for those needing repairs on electric motors, generators, welding machines, water pumps, battery chargers, electric lifts, transformers, and power tools, Ron's Cowpen Road location can have you up and running on weekends. Don't forget, you can still visit Ron's Electric Motors on Wolf Road and Claridge Road, and now Ron's new location on Cowpen Road. Dial 356-0249 or 323-5267.
It's time to upgrade the way you enjoy at-home entertainment. Alive Fiber is here. Enjoy all your favorite channels and streaming apps, all at lightning-fast internet speeds with affordable bundles, and it's only a click away. Visit www.alivefiber.com to sign up now. Stay connected, live your life. It's good to be alive.
This is Guardian Radio 96.9 FM. Fresh news, smart talk, all day.
Excuse me for the interruption.
Let's come right in, ladies and gentlemen. The foundation, we got a couple of minutes left. I got to read a couple of these texts. The text is coming through live and in full effect. It says, Howard, please. I take great exception to the Prime Minister saying that the campaign finance reform isn't a priority. He said, and I paraphrase, that when he walked and talked with the families, campaign finance is not a priority. However, how many people has the PM walked and talked with? Couldn't have been the majority of Bahamians. I do research. And when you want to obtain a consensus, you distribute a survey. You don't get a consensus from anecdotal evidence from people you walk and talk with, because they don't speak for the majority. And far as I am concerned, he works for the majority, not a few that he walked and talked with. I also take exception to what the caller said regarding the campaign finance reform and the Freedom of Information Act. Someone did tell the PLP to put the issue on the blueprint, and that organization is called the ORG. Yes, they did. ORG did, right? The ORG in conjunction with the National Development Plan. This is just me interjecting that. That's literally what it says in the book, right? It says that, the National Development Plan. So it goes into that, okay? And that organization is the ORG. ORG has been demanding that for nearly a decade. ORG has been demanding that for nearly a decade. Full stop. Okay. It says, I'll close by saying that the Prime Minister has cabinet, and his cabinet shouldn't be able to dictate priority, because we, the people, dictate what is priority. It's a text is coming through. Let me see if I can read another one. So it says, bingo. They use you for your ideas that they already has in the position and the power. It's not that they desire for the ideas to be successful either. Basically, Gen X, who failed us distractingly throughout many societies, was manipulated in the very same way by the baby boomer crew. That is why millennials and all the generations following have so much dysfunction. One should not be eager to move and caught up in the illusions that these individuals may throw forward. They love to grant the appearance of things. That we've seen that before. We've seen that with the former administration when we believe in Bahamians, with the bridge to the future. We've seen that. Haven't we seen that? I cannot say to you in all honesty and transparency with everything that I've identified and I discern within my spirit, I cannot say to you that this New Day administration has done the same thing that the former administration under the Christie has done. I cannot say that to you. We have seen the eradication and total annihilation, the separation from not only the PLP organization, but from politics, frontline politics entirely, of Andre Rollins. Talk to me. I ain't worrying about if he coming back and all these things. I know that you break his spirit to the point where he don't even want to talk to me. I don't know if it's just me. He don't want to have no conversation. I saw him say something the other day for Michael Pintock, but that's a relationship that goes back. Let's just shoot straight. I've also seen the total annihilation and eradication of Gregory Moss and his particular position. I'm not talking about his agitation to be able to open up a party and do those things. I'm talking about the sustainability and his commitment of even enduring, because he knows that he has a contribution to make. This bridge to the future eradicated those men who stood on it. That's what they did. Now, that's what I saw the former administration of the PLP did. That's not what I'm seeing with this New Day administration. With this New Day administration, I'm seeing a lot of young people, but I don't necessarily see the technocrats and the insightful persons who can be able to take it to another level. I see proximity, I see relationships forming, I see the appearance of a young face, but not necessarily adept people who can be able to get down into some things. So I can't fight you, all right? This is, okay, so we didn't read that. Let's see if we can read the next one. Say Anton is on fire. Okay, so, okay. Says, as far as we know, the PM and Jerome Fitzgerald as chief advisor of the delivery unit from day one. That said a lot. That is bananas what you just said. That said a lot, okay? Said, but Minnis brought the concept of the delivery unit. The delivery unit is a concept that existed in the UK and Europe, okay? The delivery unit existed overseas. I think Tony Blair came to the forefront with this concept and idea already, okay? And they made modifications, and we saw the introduction thereof from Prime Minister Minnis, but we never saw no execution accordingly. We didn't. The delivery unit had various tentacles, and one of those tentacles was the press secretary in the office of the Prime Minister. And so this administration, the New Day administration, has kept and retained this particular position, but the effectiveness, and not necessarily just being able to be another mouthpiece for the government, the effectiveness is not what you're getting. I just want to be honest with you as I say this to you. What I'm seeing happen with the press secretariat, what I'm seeing happen over at ZNS, and more strategically with the influence that exists in ZNS from Clint Watson and being able to take on a position to speak for the rundown, while it's good and cute, I don't know whether or not you considered some things. There are, there's 24 seats in Nassau, so there's 15 seats in the Family Islands. There's 15 seats in the Family Islands. 5 of those seats we know, for the most part, are Grand Bahamian, right? 2 of the other seats in Abaco, maybe John Pinder retain his position, but we know North Abaco may make a decision to be able to go in a contrary direction, and we know Renard, that Curry ain't there no more, right? So let's say hypothetically, almost half of those seats belong to the Free National Movement right now. Let's just say hypothetically, Long Island, 8. Let's just say hypothetically. The PLP has taken on this kind of position to be able to commandeer media and thrown that media through the government's portal, which is ZNS, the presumed, assumed, identified government's portal, which is ZNS, to influence those persons in the family of islands. But here in the city of Nassau, where we control 24 seats in the city of Nassau, you have no control, none. You got Guardian Radio on you every day with transparency, with accountability. You got other station and spaces. You got podcasts. You got all these things going on in the city with the majority of people. What are you trying to prove? What is the objective? I don't understand. You think the people in the family of islands don't know what's really going on? That you seek to find a way to manipulate and don't take no questions as to what you're doing. My God, if you at least let the people ask you questions, you can have an opportunity to use constructive criticism, take constructive criticisms, and redirect your approach. But no. You don't want to do that. You want to create a narrative, and you want the Bahamas to accept that. That don't make no sense to me. That is a waste of energy and effort and money. That don't make no sense to me. That's just Howard. That's why I couldn't do the show. Amen? That don't make no sense to me. That I have to manipulate and swim through all of this garbage that you all have done as an administration to identify one point and stretch that out for an hour a day. That don't make no sense to me. I don't have the energy for that. I don't. But that is what's being done. The delivery unit is to execute what you said that you would do in this book. That's what it's for. You said you can do it. You get the delivery unit to be able to create a narrative in the minds of Bahamian people that you assume, obviously, that are stupid. Well, these people don't know. We can tell them anything and they'll accept that. We ain't into that. You said to us integrity. You said to us accountability. And you said to us good governance. That's not what we're seeing here. We got to encourage you. Even though it may seem a little bit, taint and tart, the encouragement. We got to encourage you. You can do better than this. You got 700 and some days, and you could possibly win the next general election. You ain't gonna win it by these big margins no more because we can chop some of your people down, but you could do better than this. And a leader in your particular capacity, by being able to win your seat, you, Glennis, Chester, and whoever, you need to be 4 or 5 of y'all in there. Maybe 6. Depending on what's not, it look like Jomo Campbell trying to win it too. I see him building out that 3-story thing out there. Look like Jamal trying to do some stuff also. A couple of y'all can't make no change and no transformation in there. All you can do is when you go to the next general election, next convention in your organization, now Jamal and Jomo them looking for leadership positions. That's all that's going to happen. I don't understand how these politicians just think. That's how Michael Pintard found himself in the position. He worked in his constituency. As a result of the work that he's done in his constituency, he was now chosen amongst the handful of people that was able to retain a position in government as members of parliament. That's how you win. You got to wait out and beat out the other fellas. All around here wasting your time, working your guts out for things that ain't going to put you back in the House of Assembly. Work in your constituency. Work on your blueprint for change. Work on the campaign finance reform. That's 2 o'clock. Hold on. Wait. Let me see if I can read 2 more of these texts. Let me see. It says, wow, I'm privileged Anton agreed with the assessment towards the PLP. Let's go outside and look for the flying pink pigs. You all need to stop. Right? So it says, let's see if we can get a couple more. It says, this last text. Howard, truth be told, being a good MP still don't help you if your party is a failure. Ask Leslie and Fred. Listen to me. Being a good MP and winning your constituency could put you in a position of leadership in your organization. If you shut up and get in your constituency and do what you're supposed to do, you need to win your constituency. You can't hope to God that people like the PLP. You need to win your constituency. People hated the FNM. And Shenandoah Cartwright still won. Now he's the deputy leader in a party where he wasn't even number 20. You all need to stop and understand the dynamics of what's happening. Work your constituency and get back in. Praise God. That's the show today, guys. Enjoy your weekend. Eat some conch salad, not too much pepper, because it is go in hot and come out hot the same way. Be decent. Amen. Enjoy yourself, guys. Have a